All right, so in this one, we are going to be reacting to Goresh's ranking the 10 best character, top 10 best characters in the game, May 2023 edition. I have never had a video requested more than this, that people say, please react to this, please react to this. So clearly, people want me to react to it. I guess people like when I react to other people's content, which I don't know why, but here we are. I have done these reactions a little bit at times on Goresh specifically because I do think Goresh is clearly the most known Dragon Ball Legends uploader and content creator. So I do think going over his takes is more, I don't know, what's the word for it? It's more meaningful if you're going over the person that's most known, because maybe a perspective could be shifted if I'm going over it, and you could think from my perspective as someone that's obviously less known. So going over that, people might just fully on agreeing with Goresh's takes. I can't speak, just because he's Goresh, right? Because he's the most known Dragon Ball Legends creator. So maybe having a different perspective and having my takes on top of his takes could be a thing. Obviously, this is just my opinion of his opinion. Nothing is, factual or correct on either thing here or there, whether it be his or my take. It is just my opinion to his opinion, and it's simple as that. By the way, I am streaming actually 2 hours after this video goes up. So if you do want to watch Rank 1 Grind, which I probably am still at, maybe it's a fuzzy spot, but still at it, feel free to drop by on my YouTube stream on this channel in 2 hours from when this video drops. But nonetheless, let us begin and see where Goresh has ranked said units. And we'll skip around if I do agree or can understand. We'll kind of just, go through it, right? I don't really have to hear an explanation if I agree it, because, well, that means we agree with the same things, probably.
Hey guys, so today we're going to be covering another installation in my top 10 units list for Dragon Ball Legends. This is going to be the May 2023 edition, so if you're watching this in the future, just keep that in mind. Now, before we get into the actual rankings, I always like to quickly discuss 3 points regarding this list, which are as follows. Number 1, all characters are considered at 14 stars, best teams, best equips, max title boost, etc. So essentially the best possible environment for each character, as I think it makes the most sense to judge each character at their maximum potential, and it's also how I've experienced using each character the most. Number 2, I like to view this list as a top 10 rankings of the best characters in the current meta environment, instead of just, who are the 10 best characters in the game list. As the meta is constantly changing and evolving. So just because a character is ranked at number 5 on this list doesn't necessarily mean they'll always be better than the characters ranked 6 through 10. So please view this list as a current meta snapshot of the game instead of just a who's better than who list.
He's right.
Number 3, this list consists of rankings that are entirely of my own opinion, which has been formed from my personal experience playing the game. So please feel free to disagree with the list and let me know down below if you disagree and why.
Yes.
So those are the typical 3 things I like to mention before we jump into the video. So with this one in particular, I typically do not do honorable mentions anymore. I've sort of stepped away from doing that, but I think with the current environment of the game,
there's a lot of useful units.
Ultra Kid Buu is the most recent released character, summonable character. We have the purple Super Buu as well, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like there's 2 ways you can really look at the meta environment of this game. There is a macro view of the game, and there's a micro view of the game. Macro means more of like a broad bird's eye view of everything.
My assumption is,
and a micro view is individual.
Ultras is the micro. So the macro is the overall. I think from a macro
point of view, the game is actually in a pretty decent spot. I would say, in comparison to most other metas we've seen recently, and even in a while, there's more units that can be used that can't be used. That's been in the last couple metas. Yes, like the whole top 15 can't be used. The thing with that is, like, most likely you'll see it here. The Ultras will be the top 4 characters. Obviously the newest Ultras, right? All 4 newest Ultras. You probably want to run one of those newest Ultras with those very good units. They're very good, but they're, again, just better overall with an Ultra leader slot. Actually, a decent amount of usable teams and characters. So that's good. Thumbs up there from a macro perspective. From a micro perspective, when you take a look at like the best characters in the game and you look at how they're controlling the game, what are they doing to be good as characters, there are a lot of toxic mechanics that all those characters are bringing to the table. And so I think from a micro perspective, the meta is not really in a great spot, because a lot of the best characters in the game are the best characters because they're doing something that is
in a peak sense, where you're like really trying to build like the best of the best. What you're doing is double ultra. Then from there, support. If not a defense like Zamasu, where it gives you like team heal, gives you some safety, it's all up to you. That's all it is. Like the top things, that's what it is. But again, there's other units that are still good that aren't ultras. They're just not as good as the ultras, even close. There's a gap between LFs to ultras in a big way.
Annoying, right? Or they're doing something that is not fun to fight against, or just straight up toxic. So taking more of the information that I talked about for this video in particular, the May 20, funnily enough, is actually kind of on this list. And the reason why I'm including them at the end is because if I show like the full
so put the end, let's just go with number 10 then.
Coming in at number 10 on the list, we have Blue Zamasu. One other thing I wanted to...
Just going to say, I just did my tier list yesterday, so if you didn't see that video, that's where I'm at. What I have Zamasu at? 9? 10? So 9 or 10, that's fine. Honestly, I agree. But did I have an 8? Maybe I have 8. 8 through 10 I had him, though. I think 8 through 10 is all swappable. Yeah, no, I agree. I could put him right here. Don't see the issue with it. I know this unit's a little bit overrated. Honestly, I don't even need an explanation. I just agree with this. Yes, I agree.
Move on to number 9. Coming in at number 9 on the list, we have Red Transform.
I had this unit number 10. This is another unit I basically agree. I had this guy number 10. Could I see 10 through 8 swapping? Yes. I agree. I mean, I'm not going to comment on something. I'm just, yeah, I agree. I'm not going to, drag it out at that point. I agree. Number 10, 9, I think they're pretty swappable. I would definitely have Zamasu oversell for the most part because Zamasu just, again, the safety that he provides versus Cell is like a little bit RNG on the greens and blues. He really begs for them, but debatably, if you want to say they're swappable, I mean, I wouldn't mind at all. I would kind of be confused. I need a little bit more explanation, but I wouldn't be like, oh, that can't happen. Yeah, 10, 9. Okay, we'll move on to number 8 then. Let's see.
8. Alrighty, moving on to number 8, we have the Tag
4s.
I
do not agree.
Think that this character didn't move at all from my prior list. I think they were also number 8 on the prior list.
Let's see.
This character really hasn't been that affected by the release of Ultra Kid Buu. I guess the one indirect thing is that Purple 17 on the GT setup with this character is probably a little bit less valuable now because of Ultra Kid Buu releasing. Like, I think I kind of wanted to include Purple 17 on this list. He was very close to making it on number 10 with a few other characters too. But I feel like Kid Buu being as prominent as he is, with being as used as he is, with how strong he is, I barely didn't include 17 on the list. And I think
this is a little bit low because I do think you could just run Sun Family with 4 Ku, 4s, and Pan. I had the 4s a little bit higher. What was it? 7, 6, something like that, right? Actually, no, I think I had them 7. No, I actually think I had them 8. I had them like a little bit higher. I think nonetheless, comparably to Cell and Zamasu, if they're swapped, I think, might push 4s a little bit higher though. Because you're devaluing Zamasu more, that means the 4s would have more value, right? Because you're putting them lower than Cell. But the 4s, I think if you run them on Sun Family, they're fine. I think 8 is an okay spot. I don't fully think 8 is particularly perfect. And if I had them 8, I would probably touch on them a little bit to be 7th. But I think there's like a fine line between the situation where they're run on GT or Sun Family. If they're run on GT, they're not really working. Because, look, you got hit, you got Kid Buu. How the fuck are they dealing with it? At least on Sun Family, they have Pan to stop Kid Buu's combos. He doesn't really get any key anywhere besides just getting cards and all that bullshit with the double cardinal speed, single cardinal speed, whatever he gets. That's kind of stuff that's okay enough. But the 4s on GT, you're not slapping out Rosés, right? So I think 8 is okay. Could it be higher? Maybe 1? Sure. But if I'm going to nitpick that hard, that's going to be kind of ridiculous. So as number 8's a vibe, honestly. Let's see number 7.
Alrighty, number 7, we have Revival UI Goku. People are going to continue to...
Wait, hold on. Didn't Goresh not have him top 10 on release? And I don't know what could have upped his value that came out. I'm thinking, what upped his value that came out? Let's hear. I'm not going to prejudge. I'm very skeptical about number 7 for Rev UI.
Call me dumb for having this guy even in my list at all. And I'm just going to keep putting him on the list as well. As long as I feel he's deserving of it. And I do definitely think This
Why?
guy is still deserving
Let
of
me
being
hear.
on the list here
Cook,
at number 7.
Goresh.
I think what happened actually is this character actually ended up swapping spots with the tag 4s. So on the prior list, I think I had this guy at 8 and the tag 4s were at 7. Is
I
that
do
how it
not
went?
agree.
Something like
Okay,
that. I
Cook,
don't know.
Cook.
But this guy is now slightly ahead of the tag 4s. It's
Why?
not that big of a deal. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I think spots like 5 through 10 on this list, you can theoretically move around pretty freely.
Okay. I agree that the LF/1% are all pretty much in a position, maybe not Beast, because Beast is a little bit above them, because he's still him. He still does the him things more consistently than any other LF or 1%. I think for the most part, like a 6 through 10, maybe not Rep UI, I don't think so, but again, we'll wait for the explanation. But I do think like a 6 through 10 area, I can agree with that. Most, you could argue a swappable position. So like you said, the 4s are 6, and then you said, 4 coups 8, or you swap that, right? And you're like, okay, we'll swap that positioning. I have this hair that's like peeking out. Okay, got it. You swap that, right? I would say that's all okay. Maybe 9 and 10 kind of have to be. Maybe like Cell and Zamasu, because they're just a little bit, not as good as they are. They're just kind of team carried at some points, and Cell again is really RNG dependent. But I do agree that 6 through 10 spots can pretty much be swappable. You would have to argue it to like get it, but like I wouldn't fully disagree with you if you said, X is X, X is Y, if they were in the same vein as the units I'd pick for 6 through 10.
Not really like a gigantic gap in between the top 5 through 10 on the list here. Yeah. I think once you get into 1 through 4, that's when things sort of
that's the gap.
Take a turn for like a different tier of character. So 1 through 4 are pretty much set in stone, at least in my opinion, in terms of like them being in their own bucket almost. But Goku here at number 7. I think the main thing with me is just the fact that we are seeing, I guess, people more hesitant to bring Ultra Goju to Blue with Kid Buu being around now. Not really that big of a change for this character. The big issue with this character prior to Kid Buu releasing was just Goju was just walling this guy off permanently. So with the fact that we're encountering overall less good, like Goju to Blue, you would encounter every match without question prior to Kid Buu.
Now it's Rosé.
I think in my God rank grind, I found like 48 out of 50 matches were Gogeta or something like that. So this guy was a little bit tough to use, not unusable completely, because again, this guy still is able to go type neutral, able to pick up a bunch of Dragon Balls with his pre-revival form.
I mean,
and the UI Omen form itself is still able to pick up a bunch of Dragon Balls, double card draw speed, cover null, almost for like the rest of the fight.
On top of, just to point out, he's blast based. He's neutral for 10 counts on main. That takes the longest main ability for Revival unit, by the way, is Revival UI, of course, why not? The LF, obviously. And then you don't have a yellow. I mean, you have Evo, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Evo's not going to be on here, so Evo's value is not represented as well. So you're running this guy essentially with no yellow, it seems, because Evo's not going to be on the list, it seems, because I don't know where you're going to put Evo. Evo at 6 is kind of gas, but I mean, maybe, right? But yeah, I don't think this unit is that great still, but again,
and the fact that he has Revival, I think, is a pretty important tool right now. A lot of times right now, with how easy it is for characters like Kid Buu to start combos with their AoE green cards, with the cover null, with Rosé, just having infinite card draw speed, it's really important to have a backup plan. And this character having a Revival is a really good backup plan in case you have to just end up sacking off a character. So I think this character does bring a lot to the table, and he will continue to be on my list as long as I think he is worth it.
So theoretically, I understand that perspective, have sack off. That makes sense. That's smart. But wouldn't it just be, I'm not saying this unit should be top 10, but just a hypothetical, because I do think this unit's probably better than Rev UI. What if I were just to simply run Pan? I sack off the support unit. Why not do that? I could farm Dragon Balls with Pan. She gets on blue cards. She lowers my sub count. I get her back in faster, all these things. Why not just do Pan? Or why not just use Masu? Both units can lower sub count in a sense to essentially get them thrown away, and they're both throwaway characters. But is the Revival of UI that good to warrant? Because he dies so quickly in pre. I don't know about that.
And I think he is worth it right now. So number 7 is Revival UI Goku. Let's move on to number 6. Number 6 on the list is going to be LF.
Who the
Beast
hell is 5?
Gohan. I think he was also 6 on my
Wait, what? I mean, Beast 6 is fine. I think Beast is 5, which I'm not even going to debate Beast, to be honest. Who the fuck is 5? Is it actually Evo? Forku? Someone's missing. I feel like someone's very much missing here. Who the hell? It has to be Evo, right? Because he just gassed up RUI. He said UGB is not that common, so you bring yellow anyways to cover him, right? Green, yellow, I don't know, LF17, I guess. Uni reps, which isn't great, but it's okay. Who the hell is 5? It has to be a yellow, right? Does it have to be a yellow? It can't be a blue, because, I mean, Rosé's every match. It's not UGB every match now, it's Rosé every match. I'm concerned. Okay, number 6, Beast. Let me hear him cook.
list. No, I think he was 5. He was 5. I think what happened was because obviously, I mean, spoiler alert, Kid Buu is in the top 4. Like so I think what happened was I just put in Kid Buu above this character, and he sort of like stayed at the same ranking. So I think the addition of Kid Buu in terms of how it affected this character, it's kind of a net neutral. Pan gets a little bit of extra value from Kid Buu being in the game because obviously Kid was yellow, Pan was red, so Pan does actually have a pretty buffed up role for herself on a team with this Beast Gohan because she's able to tank Kid Buu's attacks. She's actually one of the more annoying characters to fight with Kid Buu because of the key reduction as well. Yes. Even though Kid Buu kind of neutralizes it with his key that he gets per card, but she does help deter Kid Buu's onslaught a lot.
Yes.
But then the negative effect of Kid Buu's addition is that Rosé is a lot less in check now than he was, right? So Ultra Rosé's release, of course, we still had the monstrous Ultra Gogeta Blue, who was literally unchecked. Like Ultra Gogeta Blue, again, I saw him every single match without question. Like if you weren't running Ultra Gogeta Blue, you were losing. Like that's just the way it was.
Unchecked?
And so Rosé was sort of in his shadow for the time being. Now with Kid Buu out, at least Gogeta Blue has a check, and people are a lot more hesitant to run him. Okay. And so we are seeing a massive upswing in the amount of people using Ultra Rosé right now. He's sort of just almost an unmatchable character right now, but that I think does negatively affect this Gohan. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's like this Gohan's crazy. He's unusable.
I mean, you run Beast on movies still with UGB. Beast can neutral. Everyone can neutral on that team, actually. Beast can neutral. Pan neutral. UGB neutral. I don't think Beast is great against Rosé. I don't think he's very good against Rosé because you just get one blue card and then you're dead because he can't spell effective neutral. I understand that, but if you can, force situations out, which I know it sounds easier said than done, but it's kind of how you have to play the game. You have to force things out. If they're just at your disadvantage, you have to make them your advantage. I don't think it's that hard for Beast as like, I don't even know in comparison to, I still can't figure out who 5 is, but whoever number 5 is, I'm sure Beast just does... Bless me. Thank you. I'm sure Beast just does his thing probably better than whoever this number 5 unit is, because again, Ultras are going to be top 4. I don't know. This is weird to see Beast 6 when I don't think anybody that's a Sparking could touch him, and Ultras are 4. Like, I'm just kind of stuck on that.
You're crazy if you run this character like that. I don't think it's at that level. Remember, this Gohan does have type neutrality. I think it was for the first like 5 switch-ins or something like that. So
and greens, blues,
he doesn't. He's not like a massive disadvantage against Rosé, but Rosé does have the type neutrality removal ability with his blue card, but then you just switch, right? This is pretty much, I'm going to say the same exact comment I said on the prior list when I talked about this character. This is pretty much the definition of a carry unit. Like, you build the team around this character, and then this character just is the character you use to win the matches.
I agree.
So, I think with hybrids...
But who is number 5, then?
Sort of being not as good as the rest of the game, or as the rest of the top teams in the game are right now, that does hurt this character. But I think as soon as we start seeing more hybrid Saiyans get added, potentially a hybrid Saiyan Ultra character, which we don't have yet.
FSK,
some more support for the team. I think at that point, this character will definitely start to be seen as one of the best characters in the game again, because he just does everything. I mean, even still to this day, he does all the things you would want out of a carry unit. So he is at number 6 right now, but I could definitely see him moving up, depending on what we see in the future for his teams getting buffed. So Beast Gohan number 6. Let's talk about number 5. Coming in at number 5, we have LF Android 7.
Rep UI 7, 17.5. So that, okay, hold on. There's a lot to think about here. That means Forku. How does Forku lose value? Because Forku's value clearly has gone down, according to what Goresh thinks here, if he's not in the top 10, right? Because, well, he's not fucking in the top 10. How does he lose value? Less UGBs? Is it really that? Is it really that, though? It's not like more hits are spawning. Like, Hit was already trying to spawn. Now, I guess he's more wanting to because there's a yellow. I get it, but, like, how does Forku or Evo, like, either or, not make this? I mean, if you're running Rev UI, you got to run a yellow. Just protect. You have to protect them. You can't just fucking let them fucking die. How does 7... Okay, I'll say this much. Android's a very good team. I think you actually leader slot probably Evo on it with Red 21, LS17, Evo. That'd be a very good setup. Because they only have blast-based pure, right? You're not missing out on anything that you're going to get anyways with like GT17 and GT17. He already mentioned Kid Boo's a lot. It's tough to fucking use him because you can't snipe out Rosé's very easily because Kid Boo's just... He's here. He's in the fucking game. Android's a very good team. No one's running blast defense. That's a blast-based team. It works very well, especially UGB's, usage essentially going down, as he has stated, which is true. But in that same vein, you would have Red 21. Maybe you won't mention her. Fine, she's not top 10 to you. That's whatever. But then Evo, I would say they're both arguable, at least 10 for Red 21 and Evo. And this unit would be the hardest one to argue for top 10. Because he just said, blues are very hard. Rosé's running around consistently. So how in the world has 17 made it to number 5, especially over Beast, who has a purple on his team? 17 does not. GT17 is not good enough right now. Just how it is. How in the world does this guy make it over Beast?
17. This might end up being a bit of a controversial one, I guess. I've seen a lot of people not liking this character as much recently, which I guess makes sense.
He is a little underrated, I will agree.
Very prominent in the meta right now, and of course this character does not particularly fare that well against Ultra Rosé, but I would say he does pretty good against the entire rest of the game. But I will admit, it is pretty important to do well against Rosé. But what I'll say about this character is he pretty much is the polar opposite of what we just discussed for Beast Gohan. So Beast Gohan and this character, like, they literally could not be more different. Beast Gohan is, once again, a carry unit. You want to build a team around Beast Gohan, and he will be the one that carries you to victory. 17 is a character you want to build the team around a different... So you want to use 17 to build the team around somebody else. He will be providing the other characters with additional mechanics and additional buffs to help take down the enemy. He has the arts power down when the enemy uses a blue card or an ultimate. He has the team heal. He has the uncancelable endurance. He has the double advantage. He has the cut penetration support.
It can't just be
he's able to extend combos really far because he has the blast card draw. He has a very, very, 30 count.
If it's just the utility, I'm just saying it prior to explaining it, if there's more, which there probably is. If it's just the utility, that's like saying Puddle is top 10 because he has utility. Yeah, he does. Great. He still gets fucking folded like a piece of fucking paper. So if that's the argument, that's not really holding.
Cover null on main ability. He gets cover null when his full gauge is activated when he uses green cards. Like, this character is a really powerful, just like second best character on your team. That's what I was calling him when he first released. Like, this is going to be the best, second best character on your team, pretty much, like, forever. Like, I definitely see this character aging potentially just as well as Future Gohan did. Pretty much just like the best leader slot character in the game. You put him on literally any team and he's good to go. He's gonna make your team feel a lot better. It's gonna make your team a lot more survivable. He's gonna allow your
I don't agree with that. So what he really wants is like defense, right? Because like, he's not crazy output. He's not bad output, but like you could run like a defense pure, USS full uni reps, full defense pure, double pure slots there. Or androids, there's pure strike defense per android battle member, so you run 2 android characters, you kind of can cope it. But this unit, I don't know. That's a bold claim, the puddle comparison.
Right? So I think this character is, I think at this point, honestly, pretty underrated by a lot of people.
I agree, he is underrated.
The fact that he himself is not like tanking and destroying Ultra Rose, I don't think is as big of a deal as people are making it out to be.
But who's
I will admit, it
him?
would be nice if the best, I don't want to call Rose the best character in the game, but it would be nice if like the most annoying character in the game, I will definitely call Ultra Rose the most annoying character in the game, was not green, so that this character could thrive a little bit more. But I think this character definitely does still have the tools at his disposal to not completely get shut down by Rose. And I think what he's bringing to the table for every other character you're using with him is just too good to really ignore and knock him too much for that.
Too good.
If you want to put this character a few slots down on this list, I would be okay with that.
But what is he bringing that's too good? Cup pen? No, it's okay. Support from the green? That's okay. It's okay. But that's just saying he has good utility. He didn't really mention anything about his own individuality being good. Just his utility. It's like, okay, just hide this motherfucker, then get utility for him, and then bada bing, bada boom, you're kind of set for a little bit. But again, that's like saying puddle. Okay, just get hit with puddle, get support, keep going, in and out. He has endurance. Oh my god, he has 40% back on endurance pop. Oh my god, utility, right? It's utility, but does that mean puddle's top fucking 10? No. It's just utility. Utility, that's like saying Pan's top 10, because she has utility. I don't really understand this. Is there more?
This character's like, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, he's definitely number 5, unswappable with any other character on this list. Like, I don't think that. But I definitely am comfortable with him at number 5, and I think he definitely is good enough to be there. And I definitely see this character potentially just out-aging the rest of this list. So we will see how that plays out, but this is going to be LF17.
Out-aging even Beast? That's crazy.
Number 5, I think he's just providing too much for the rest of the characters on this list and in the game to really ignore, to be put.
I'm just so curious. Who do you run him with, though? You don't have a purple. He's so unsafe. He's unsafe every setting of a match because every match is Rose. So how do you run this dude? I genuinely don't understand how you run him with no safety. Again, you can run androids, right? That's a setup. But 17's not doing anything. He just kind of exists to stall and just hide like a little, like, pansy in the back. That's not me top 517 potential there. That's Evo doing this work. That's GT17. That's Red 21. Whoever the fuck else you're running. Red Cell. Whoever. That's them doing the work. He's just, oh, okay, I'm going to skedaddle over here. He's not really doing anything, though. For most matchups, this unit doesn't do jack shit. Just kind of hides. Maybe at last man standing, he can do okay. He has the gauge. He'll vanish. He could be annoying, but, like, is this unit like a comeback potential or a showstopper? No, he even said he's the second best unit on a team. That's not some comeback thing, and yet the entire match he's usually hiding because Rose's every match. It's interesting.
This list here, so let's move on to the top 4. I think the top 4 are pretty expected here, but number 4 might be a bit surprising to you guys here. Alrighty, number 4 is Ultra Goji.
I don't have to say anything. I 100% agree. That's all I need. He said it. Number 4 UGB. I understand it. I agree with it. I follow it. We move. By the way, for 17, I would say that unit is top 15 for me. Peak. Maybe like 12, 13. Peak. Though, if you want to cope him for number 10, I wouldn't agree. But I could understand it. Number 3. Oh my.
Right, so coming in at number 3, we have Ultra.
So how I view this is that Ultra Hit and Rose are 1 and 2 swappable, depending your preference of the goodness, I guess, of each unit. Me personally, I think time skip is such a broken mechanic, and hits damage pre-time skip and post-time skip is still absolutely absurd and broken and just unfair beyond belief. And he guarantees a free kill if you do, well, time skip with a ultimate, which you would have because you have your main ability when you have your ultimate, and your time skip because he spawns a green card. You quite literally swap in and you do a free Rising Rush by clicking cards, and they can't move, and then you farm a rush by doing that same thing. I think that is just too invaluable to put him lower than top 2, but let me hear what Goresh has to say. I do think hit's number 1, just for reference.
Hit. So I'm just going to straight up say basically the rest of the list, because you guys, at this point, you guys know the rest of the list. I'm not going to give out number 1 and 2, but I will say this. I think there is a very strong argument to make for this character right here, Ultra Hit, for Ultra Rose Goku Black, and for Ultra Kid Buu to all be number one. If you are somebody who thinks that...
Before he continues, I'll say, I think I disagree. I think Kid Buu cannot argue number one because of Ultra Hit. The safety of Kid Buu does not exist. There is no blue that is so good that Hit cannot do the Hit thing that he does against blues. My experience, alongside that, 17, no. Zamasu, he's probably the most annoying, but that's just early game because, the key reduction. And Beast, hell no. He takes the most damage out of all three. So I disagree. I don't think Kid Buu can argue number one. I actually do think Kid Buu is number 3, solidified. UGB is number 4, solidified, no swappable. But let me hear more.
Any of those characters are number one, I would just say, okay. Like, I'm not going to really argue with that because they're all viable characters to be number one in the game right now.
I would.
And I think that is specifically the reason why this meta, from a macro point of view, which I talked about in the beginning of this video, is actually in a pretty good spot. Right? You don't have a clear, definitive number one character in the game, which I think we did have with Ultra Gogeta Blue for a while.
Yeah, but not having a clear number one is good, I guess. Yeah, it's good. It's good. But that's still a micro thing. It's still just the top 4 being 10 leagues better than everything below the top 4, right? So I don't know if that means it's good because, oh, these 4 Ultras are very good. It's more like it's fine because while you need an Ultra for most part, maybe you can cope without an Ultra, but like if you're up against someone that has an Ultra, you're struggling a lot more than you need to. If you had one instead of not having one, it's okay, but the gap from 4 to 5, he even said it, everyone knows it, is way too wide to say it's a very good meta. It's very restrictive on some aspects of Ultra, here you go, 3rd slot unit, whoever it is. And then when you're running the full LFs or just maybe not leader slotting an Ultra, the match is 50 times harder without an Ultra.
But now that
it's
we have
okay
a clear target against him with this Ultra Kid Buu, we sort of have a more healthy balance of different teams floating around because there isn't just one clear-cut best character.
It's really just double Ultra, to be honest.
So that's why I really think 90%. There's not like one head honcho sort of just sitting at the top right now. You can really have Hit, you could have Kid Buu, or you could have Rose at number 1 on the list. I ended up going with Hit at number 3, and this is not really a knock against Hit because I think Hit did gain a lot of value with Ultra Kid Buu releasing. Of course, Ultra Kid Buu is yellow, and of course, Ultra Hit is going to just straight up annihilate Kid Buu with a time skip, and just from straight up combos as well, he's going to destroy him. But I just think Kid Buu and Rose are a little bit more obnoxious, number 1, which makes it a lot easier for them to be usable. Like, Ultra Hit is not really doing anything super obnoxious, and it really does feel...
How?
Like, if you're not doing something toxic or obnoxious, then you're just not good enough.
Hit makes a Rising Rush. 140 counts hits. You spawn a green card on his entry. You click that green card, you time skip. You get a guaranteed kill that's doing, if you click the ultimate, you're probably doing around 4 to 6 million damage. You're also farming Dragon Balls, you're getting Vanish back, you're lowering your sub count. Everyone come back in, you have triple swaps, triple vanishes. How is that not obnoxious? He gets a guaranteed kill on a Rising Rush from cards. That's the most obnoxious thing in the game, in my opinion. Maybe Paralyzed proccing 6 times is more. But if a hit time skips you and they auto-kill you, that seems a lot more obnoxious than some AoE green or some, paralyzed bullshit. And that's not inconsistent paralyzed, right? It's 20%, though it feels higher. Yeah, I completely disagree. Hit is very obnoxious because you do that time skip, you get a kill. It's the simplest manner. You're not getting a kill guaranteed with Rosé's paralyzed, Kid Buu's AoE, but hit, you time skip, you fucking kill. It's just the simplest thing you could ever think of.
That sounds so bad, but it's just true, I think. Like, I wouldn't really consider the time skip to be cancerous or toxic.
How?
I can understand if you think that, and I think it's like half toxic, half not toxic. Like, you get touched once by this character and you're dead with the time skip. But it does take some level of understanding of how it works and some level of skill to utilize it to its fullest.
Just come in and
this
do
character's
the
really good. Again, I'm not saying that I think Kid Buu and Rose are just straight up better, but I think right now in the current meta environment, Rose and Kid Buu, I think, serve as a better tool to use to rank up, right? And that's really the main factor I'm looking at, right? So if you're somebody who's gunning for rank 1, if you're somebody who's gunning for God rank or top 50, top 100, whatever, like
I'm gunning for rank 1 and I'm using hit. What? I'm confused. Okay.
The
I'm just confused.
hemisphere of the game in terms of
how is time skip not toxic?
I think I would slightly value Kid Buu and Ultra Rose higher. I think the combination of those two characters together, even in like just a future setup, is.
He said UGB has less value now because he's in check, right? But how is Kid Buu higher value then? Wouldn't hit be higher value because hit stops Kid Buu? If UGB's less common, then you have less value for Rose, so hit would have more value, and Kid Buu is also stopped by hit, so hit would go up. That's his own logic, yet it's not followed through. It just confuses me. I'm not trying to even be like an ass. I just genuinely get confused by that.
It's too strong. Like Ultra Hit is a good deterrent to that team build, but I mean, Rose gets going on there. You have a counter to go to the blue. You can run a blue Zamasu on that team as well to deter hit as well. Like that's the team I was using. I was using Kid Buu, Rose, and blue Zamasu. And the main reason why
I was using that, yeah,
I'm scared of hit with that setup. So you can throw on that.
It's not like Zamasu's going to bulk everything. I killed Zamasu with time skip.
Time skip. That blue Zamasu is the single. Blue Zamasu in combination with blue 17, I think, are the two best counters to hits time skip mechanics. So the fact that you can run
17
blue Zamasu on the team together with Kid Buu and Ultra Rose and have it work really well on the future build with like Mai's HP buff and the Zenkai buffs for Rose and stuff like it's just too good. It's just too strong. And that is the main reason why I have Kid Buu and
also just to point out something very obvious that's I guess just not really being said. You just run hit with Rose. He just said you run Rose, Zamasu, Kid Buu. Well, you run hit with Rose. It's the same. Then what happens, right? You're literally just completely fucked at that point because you got the fucking blue unit. Okay, he's fucking out. You got the red that's going to kill both because what can Rose do to stop hit? It's like they're even, right? They're even footing. But Kid Buu, bro gets slaughtered. What if you run double ultra? What happens then? Hit has to have that high value, right? Because that fucking blue's countered. Bada bing, bada boom. Zamasu can't kill hit in like 2 cards. He's not good enough on offense.
But this character is still insanely good. I think in the right hands of somebody who knows what they're doing with this character, this character does have a very solid argument of being number 1. So if you do think that,
easy to use him.
I will not really argue against you, but in my opinion, I think Kid Buu and Rose are slightly ahead here. So hit at number 3. Let's move on to number 2. Man, this was a tough decision. I was sitting here and looking at my
Rose number 2.
Screen at both these characters for a while. Of course, I have Rose at number 2, so obviously that means Kid Buu is number 1. So we'll just get that out of the way right now. It was tough. Again, if you want to say Rose, you have him at number 1. I will not argue against you.
Sure, let's say that.
Rose is absurdly powerful. I think a lot of his value, of course, is from the blue card. We have the multiple stacks of card draw speed he's able to get from the enemy switching. He has a really nice green card, able to heal himself, draw a blue card, draw a strike card. He actually does have a way of dealing with Gogeta Blue's Gauge by, launching a blue card when the enemy, when Rose has a attribute downgrade like Bleed. It allows him to not be able to connect with the blue card after he counters, right? Able to go type neutral with the main ability. He can launch up to 3 ultimates in one fight. A lot of healing. He has insane defensive utility, right? He goes type neutral on cover change. He lowers card draw speed. He's destroying Dragon Balls. Cover change against this guy's he's just essentially doing everything in the game almost.
Yeah.
Just a ridiculously powerful character that is even stronger now than he was on the prior list because of course we have Ultra Kid Buu who's able to fill the gap, one gap in this Rose's kit, which was his weakness to purple characters. I don't know if this is just not a team, the main one being Ultra Gogeta Blue, which we have a very, very targeted counter now with Kid Buu against the Ultra Gogeta Blue. So now Rose, again, still is going to struggle a little bit with Ultra Gogeta Blues, but then you just switch into Kid Buu and you win. Right, so...
okay, I don't... The impression that Kid Buu is a full UGB stopper is a little bit misleading in my opinion here. Actually more than I would expect it to be, because he's not. He definitely can hurt him. He can beat the fuck out of him, but UGB, let's say he's already in, he's taking Kid Buu hits, those strikes, they're going to hurt, right? Okay, that's a problem. He gets gauge. Maybe they don't have any blast. They made those blasts into strikes with the green card, and they try to finish you off with an ultimate or a blue card. Lock in blue card, your gauge is full. Well, UGB is neutral. UGB is neutral to both of those settings if he's already in. So this way of explaining it where it's like, oh, UGB is just fodderized by Kid Buu, it's not accurate. Like, a better comparison is like hit to Kid Buu, right? Hit, okay, he lands 2 fucking cards. He lands a strike into his ultimate, bada bing, bada boom, Kid Buu's dead. That's it. There's no if, ands, or buts. That's it. Simple. Goddamn, he's fucking gone. Kid Buu is no neutral. Ripozo. But the thought process or comparison of Kid Buu just shuts down UGB, I think that's pretty inaccurate. He does well against him. He does very well. He's the best unit to go against UGB. Not, discussing that. But the concept of just like, okay, UGB is dead because Kid Buu just enters, that's not real. It's not that amazingly true. It's consistent, but is it like 100% like I hit 2 carding a Kid Buu? No. Or like a hit time skipping and killing a Kid Buu guaranteed? No. Or like a Rose near 1 carding a beast going on a blue card? No. Kid Buu does well against them, does very well, but just the wording is like, okay, yeah, bro's dead. Rip Bozo. That's not really accurate to how UGB does against Kid Buu. He does very well against Kid Buu, but to say he just dead, that's just not accurate.
This character also essentially right now doesn't really have many, rivals right now. I mean, besides Ultra Gogeta Blue, like what purples are you really running?
GT17 is not good enough right now.
Purple 17 is the only other one I can really think of right now, and again, you just go into Kid Buu, and that's
more accurate.
There's that issue out the window.
That's more accurate. Kid Buu GT17.
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
this character's ridiculous. Probably the most annoying character
UGB, no.
in recent times since Cooler for me. The blue card is just too good. I think the blue card should have been a long animation because it becomes a coin flip too often in the fights when people just launch that from long range. And I think his partnership with Kid Buu, that's the ultimate reason why Gogeta Blue fell to number 4 on my list, and why we have the top 2 on the list being Rose and Kid Buu. So I'll conclude my thoughts with Rose here, and we'll go ahead and move on to the honorable mentions.
I'm going to look at these. I'm not really going to...
6 honorable mentions I had.
6?
And from there, we'll
top 16
talk
as well.
about number 1 on the list. All right, so
let's
here
see these. Let me look real quick. Let's see if I agree. Damn, Forku's not even touched here, huh? That's crazy. Forku. Damn, bro. That's... Trunks over Forku's crazy. Not going to harp on these too much, though. Pan, I'd agree. VT, I could agree, right? They're in that area. GT17, I agree. Evo should be on top 10 for me. Buu Duo, honorable mention, I agree. Trunks, I don't agree. You could definitely have, at least Forku, if not maybe even USV here in that positioning, because you could run USV with Rose, leader slot Rose on fusions. Not great, not fantastic or spectacular or anything, but it's still an option. It's not great, once again, but it's still an option. While Trunks is, there's a lot of cover and all, right? Kid Buu, AoE green, you have hit, green card, UGB, green card. Like, everyone has cover and all that's, like, in the top tier. So it's kind of tough to have that. Trunks uses best thing of cover rescue. Fine honorable mention. I don't really see anything outlandish. Trunks obviously being the dark horse here more than anything, but yeah, fine honorable mention. I don't really have a gripe. I would just think Evo is somewhere in the top 10 if you're including Rev UI. Color Synergy, you got to make that work, right? Let's look at number 1 now.
Coming in at number 1 on my top 10 best units list, May 2023 edition, is going to be Ultra Kid Buu here. The biggest targeted counter to Gogeta Blue that we've seen. I think it was necessary. I think Gogeta Blue was running around for far too long as the best character uncontested, so I think this is very healthy for the game.
You know what? Continue.
From a macro viewpoint, that we did end up getting this character here. It sort of opens up the game for the rest of the characters in the game to actually do stuff.
It more
right?
More or less than that. It kind of just, here's an ultra countering an ultra. Okay, here's Rose. He would counter the soon-to-be blue ultra, right? Here's Kid Buu countering this yellow. Here's Hit countering this. Here's Kid Buu as a yellow countering this purple. Here's Hit as a red countering this yellow. Here's UGB as a purple. It's more keeping them in check. Obviously, Hit is the least checked one as he is red and there's no blue ultra. It keeps them in check. I don't know if it particularly is great because we shouldn't have had this issue in the first place, but it does help resolve a problem with ultras where they were just kind of allowed to be free, and Hit is still doing that, but most of them are in check, which I do think is
we
good.
Can't just have the same character be the best forever, right? So eventually there's going to have to be some kind of power shift here, and I think they actually did a good job with this because I don't actually think Kid Buu from a straight up power creep perspective is just straight up better than Gogeta Blue in every way, right?
I agree.
The reason why
Solo
this Kid Buu was a good release, in my opinion, is because, again, he
all ultras
countered Gogeta Blue, which we didn't have before, and so that sort of creates a level playing field, because I would argue that every character on this list has at least some character that's able to counter them pretty hard. So the fact that we now have that with this Kid Buu versus Gogeta, I think does actually bode as a good thing for the game. The downside to that is this character does bring a lot of very toxic mechanics into play, which is, again, the micro perspective, looking at the individual mechanics the characters bringing to the table here. I just think, I mean, you guys have had enough time to really experience this character, either playing with him or playing against him, or seeing gameplay that I've uploaded or that other YouTubers have uploaded. Mm-hmm. You guys understand how this character is. You guys understand how good he is, what he brings to the table. Mm-hmm. I think one of the big things that we can say with this character is it's not just offense, right? He's not just an overwhelming offensive force, which I think he actually is, right? His blue card locking in and getting vanish back multiple times for the blue card, the double card draw speed, the infinite key.
Not just an overwhelming offensive force. Not just... He has no anything. Quite literal zero. Rose, UGB, Hit has overall cover change, so I guess Hit all have better disrupt situations. More Rose, yes, they have the same cover change on Strike, but Rose actually disrupts more than all the other ultras. The disruption they offer, / just ending combos on overall cover change as UGB or Hit, Kid Buu has nothing. He has a Strike cover change. He reduces no key. He is very much more catered toward offense. He's put a defense type because his stats would have been too broken. Maybe he would have been just like way too good. But this unit is more defensive in the manner of Rush. I don't know if that really constitutes as defense more than just protection. And I guess you could value those in the same vein. But if I'm thinking of like coverage for yourself and like saving your allies or being like a unit that's like defensive in an aspect, Rose reduces the Dragon Ball when he swaps out if he takes a combo, right? He's lowering the key, destroying some cards, all that bullshit. He's doing like this actual defensive unit type of thing, disruption, like, Blues Monster does disruption, right? I don't think Kid Buu's a defensive-esque unit in the nature that you would usually describe one. He's definitely more geared toward offense. Again, the Rush thing, that's a solo thing. I think when you think of a defense unit, you're thinking of like, they'll have value for your overall team. So Monster Goku Black would remove Vanish, right? Back then when they were a defense unit that was run, most defense unit had that value. That's going to give like Blues Monster, Team Heal. Kid Buu is very selfish. So I don't value this unit and say he has good aspects defensive and offensive. I think he's very much more pandered toward offense. He has good self-defense, but a defense, you're usually thinking this like, well, end a combo. Okay, I could go into my offense units and do a thing. Or I could get a team heal. Or I could get X or Y. He's doing none of that, right? He's selfish.
Potential from the green card. But it's also the fact that he's healing every time he draws a card. He's healing when his gauge is broken. He's destroying cards when his gauge is depleted. Like, he's doing a lot of intangible defensive abilities as well.
True.
And I feel that this character is just... It's too easy, right? It's too easy with that green card to really start combos.
Yeah, it has cover and all.
The way I like to think about it is it's sort of like an AoE version of the LF Android 17 green card, which is insane.
I get what it means. Did you get cover and all on the usage of it?
So
is it on usage?
stupid.
Activate. It doesn't. Well, Kid Boo's on
press
usage.
that, and you get. It's not only that you get priority. You get priority, and the enemy can't do anything. Yeah. If you land that green card while you have your gauge filled up, you win.
Yeah,
you win the game.
That is
like you could lock in the opponent with your blue card. You can get your vanish back. His AOE or his ultimate does AOE damage.
Very good.
Like this character,
blue card,
honestly,
back twice.
He just
destroy hand.
He just feels like a cheat code almost sometimes. And again,
Stacks
I will reiterate what I said about
blue card
this
and
damage
on
with
card
Rose.
used.
I feel like if you wanted to put Rose at number 1 over this Kid Buu, I
still
feel
would,
like
yes.
you could do that, right? I'm not at all saying that this Kid Buu is, without question, de facto number 1 in the game. Like, no, I think Rose is in that argument as well. And I also think Hit could be in that argument as well. So I don't really think this is anything set in stone here. But at least in my experience, the way that I've... way that I felt both using this character and playing against this character, he just feels too overwhelming right now. So we'll see what the anniversary brings, because that's when I expect to receive the next character. We shouldn't really get another banner in March.
The USV effect happened to Kid Buu.
Like they bring back Ultra Hit or something.
You know,
which I think they probably will in January, or not January, in May, bringing back Ultra Hit here. But yeah, anniversary, I'm excited to see how they do that, because we're in a pretty delicate time here for the game, I think.
Overall, I definitely have a little bit of a question. The 17 thing, I don't understand that, because the coverage was never discussed. You need coverage for him. It's just simple. You're going to mention Rosé's running around everywhere. He's top 2, arguable top 1. Well, then there's no coverage being mentioned for him. How can 17 be top 5 with no coverage? That just doesn't make any sense to me, right? Rev UI, I guess that could be more understandable, because you're saying there's less UGBs, so yes, you don't need to run a yellow as frequently. Understandable, even, you know, logical, right? But I do think Rev UI as a unit just isn't, I don't know, the slowness of him on the stacking, that's weird, that doesn't even stack over to, you know, the revival state, the neutral, which he probably doesn't even get half the matches because he's fucking losing his first life because he's so fragile. The stalling, I guess that's okay, but like, he mentioned that you use Rev UI as like a sack off type, right? Like a sack off the first life. You're not needing to rush Rev UI's first life. It's not like, I don't know, who is a tanky fucking revival? I guess Clapku, right? Like that first life, you would kind of struggle against it a little bit. You might even rush it at some points because like there was so much healing on the team that he was run on. Rev UI is so fragile. You're never going to rush that first life. It just, unless you're in control the entire match and then your opponent just got a bullshit rush and you just rush because like they're pressed that they're losing, you're never going to rush that first life. I don't think that's even an argument where it's like, yep, he's, you know, fodder for the rush. It's just not enough. It's not going to happen. He's not going to get rushed. He's going to get normal carded, strike, blast, blue, whatever. Not even an ultimate for him because he's just so fragile. But overall, besides that, I would say the Uni Reps units are definitely in a weird spot on this list. I don't think either of those two would make top 10. Rev UI definitely, I don't think he's touching top 15 for me personally. I'll be really honest there. But everything else, Hit, just the thing saying time skip is more brain power, I guess, than other stuff, which, I mean, maybe, but like, acting as if it takes a lot more skill, that's just not true. Hit is very brain dead. Hit is very, I click green card, I get auto kill, that's broken. That's overpowered. I think that should be overstated more. It's not, it's understated, which is something I'm kind of confused on. But overall, just a little nitpicks there. Definitely 7 and 5, right? 7 and 5 are definitely the woes. Furuku not being here is very shocking. Not even top 16, because he said 6 characters on the end there. Not top 16. I'm not sure how his value fell down so much. Again, if you were to say, oh, because he's yellow and Hit came out and got more usage because Kid Buu, fine. But then you're saying Rosé's above Hit, right? So that would mean 17 has to fall or Beast has to fall. That's just not necessarily true at that point. I mean, especially because of this. You think about it, 17, there's no purple. There's just no safety purple. You're not running with UGB. You're not running G17. He's unsafe right now because Kid Buu. But when you think about Furuku, you can at least run it with the 4s. You can run it with Pan. Kind of safety options. You can at least deal with, you know, Kid Buu there. You could kind of deal with UGB with Furuku. Even tag out deals with the 4s. So you're kind of more safe than 17 would be. But overall, solid list. Definitely interesting in some positionings, but generally, usually how Goresh is the important things here are stated more or less in a objective manner. Not even subjective as his own opinion, just objective. 1, 2, 3 could swap, blah, 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 all those things. So, W list, I'm interested why he thinks 17 and Rev UI, though, their value is so high. I don't think it was fully explained here. Again, the purple thing with 17, I just can't understand, right? Because that needs to be discussed, and that wasn't discussed. But what do you guys think of Goresh's top 10 list and my reaction to it? And I'll see you guys in the next one.